So the first thing to point out is radius is halfway across the circle, while the diameter is all the way across the center of the circle. Circumference is 2 pi r, or pi times diameter. Think of that as the perimeter of the circle, the distance on the outside. And the area is pi times radius squared. And in this video, we're always going to use 3.14 for pi. So to find the circumference of the circle on the left, we're going to use, we already have the radius, so we're going to do 2 pi r, or 2 times 3.14 times the radius, which is 14.5. And that's going to be 91.06 feet. And if they ask you to round it to the nearest tenth, then it would be 91.1 feet. And the area is going to be pi, or 3.14, times the radius squared, so which is 14.5. And want to remember that squaring a number means multiplying it by itself. So this is really 3.14 times 14.5 times 14.5, which is 660.185 feet squared. Or if we round out to the nearest tenth, it would be 660.2 feet squared. Now this circle, to do the same thing, we're going to use this time pi times diameter because it's a little bit easier, because it's just going to be 3.14 times the 14.3, and that equals 44.902 centimeters. Or if we round it to the nearest tenth, this would be 44.9 centimeters. It will tell you what you should round it to. Now for the area, we have to find the radius first. You don't put in the number for r squared and then times it by 3.14 and then divide it by 2. You have to find the radius first. And we also don't want to round them to the very end. So the radius is going to be 14.3 divided by 2, which is 7.15. So the area formula would be 3.14 times 7.15 squared. And that would give us 160.52465, or if we're just going to round that to the nearest tenth, we would say 160.5 centimeters squared. And go ahead and pause it if you need to, because I'm going to clear everything off. So if the circumference of a coin is 7.69 centimeters, what is the diameter? Well, we can just say that circumference is equal to pi times diameter. We'll use 3.14 for pi. So the circumference is 7.69 equals 3.14 times the diameter. So we're going to just divide both sides by 3.14 because that's the opposite of multiplication. And that would give us that the circumference is about 2.449, so round that appropriately. If it says to round it to the nearest tenth, we would say 2.4 if round to the nearest tenth. If they said round to the nearest hundredth, we would say 2.45. And of course, all these units would be centimeters no matter where we round it. And pause it if you need more time, because I'm going to clear this. This next question, we want to find the area of the shaded part there in yellow, or what I just did there in pink. And we notice we have two shapes. We have a half a circle, and inside that half of the circle, we have a triangle. So informally, we're going to find the area of the circle and then subtract it from the area of the triangle. So half of a circle would be 1/2 times the radius, or 3.14, times the radius squared. And the radius is halfway across from the center, which is 12. And this is going to be 226.08. And as a check, your circle, half a circle, should be bigger than your triangle. The formula for area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. So the base is all the way across, that's 24. And then the height of the triangle was the same as the radius, which is 12. And 1/2 times 24 times 12, and again 1/2 is the same thing as 0.5, 1 divided by 2. That gives you 144. And when you subtract them, you have 82.08 centimeters squared, or that would be 82.1 centimeters squared if rounded to the nearest tenth. And this last question, clearly not drawn on the scale, a 3-foot wide circular track for a camera dolly set up for a movie scene. The two rails of the side track form concentric circles. The radius of the inner circle is 60 feet. This looks a lot more confusing than it really is. It just wants to know how much further, how much longer the outside circle is than the inside. So this is a circumference question, and we're going to do two circles here. The smaller circle here in pink would be 2 times pi times the radius, which is 60. And that's going to give us 376.8 feet. The larger circle has a radius of 63, the 60 plus the 3. So this would be 2 times 3.14 times 63. And that's going to equal 395.64 feet. So to find the area or circumference between them, the distance between them, we just subtract it. And 395.64 minus 376.8 is 18.84 feet. And make sure you round that to whatever they ask you to. And if you have any kind of questions, ask your math teacher.